Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to this live session of the Healthy Kids course. My name is Shweta Gupta. I'm going to be hosting today's session. So I'll just take you through. I'll just start sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, Sai?
Yeah.
So most of you have been associated with WellCure and are familiar with what WellCure is all about. For the ones who are new to WellCure, I'll quickly just brief you about what WellCure is all about. So WellCure is a platform for natural healing. So it is our endeavor at WellCure to guide people on the path of adopting a very natural lifestyle, a healthy natural lifestyle. And you can download our app from Google Play or App Store. On our app, there are various sections. For example, you can find plant-based healthy recipes. There is a collection of body wisdom articles related to nature cure and natural living. There is a Q&A section where you can put your queries regarding natural healing, your health issues, and we'll have our nature cure experts answer them. There are health journeys where people who have adopted the natural lifestyle and dealt with their health issues naturally, they've shared their journeys in this section. And of course, we have a lot of online programs. We have live workshops, and then there is a collection of e-learning courses that we have on our app. So all that information you can check out on our app. This was about WellCure. Now, I would like to introduce the program expert for the Healthy Kids course, which is Ms. Sai Papat. Though Sai needs no introduction, but I'll make a quick attempt. So Sai is basically a certified plant-based nutritionist, and she has completed her master's in yoga and education. She's been personally practicing the clean eating and plant-based and natural lifestyle for about 8 to 10 years now, along with her family. And she's really passionate about sharing her knowledge and learning with other people. So she keeps holding workshops for adults as well as kids on clean eating as well as yoga. And she's partnered with us also on a couple of workshops regarding the same. Being a mother of two, she has very well been able to experiment and use her learnings, her knowledge of plant-based lifestyle and healthify her kids' eating habits. And that's what makes us special. And Sai, so it's an honor to welcome you on the platform. With this, I hand over the session to you, Sai.
Sure. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you for that introduction. Hello, everyone. Hope I am audible to you. Shweta, can you...
Yes, Sai, I'll just move.
Yeah. Yeah. So today's agenda is to give you some more clarity about what is this program all about, what are we going to cover, what to expect if you have registered or when do you register for this program. So why this program can be very helpful to you, especially in the current scenario, what all to expect in this program, and how are you going to achieve those goals, whatever you have for your kids. So that is what I'm going to explain to you in the next 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, we will have a Q&A session, open session, where you can ask all your questions and doubts that you have. Okay. So let's start with why. Why is the need? Next slide. Okay. Shweta, okay, fine. Yes. Can you click next, Shweta? Shweta, yeah. So it's very, very important to make sure that what we are feeding our kids is nutritious and it is not damaging the kids further. Okay, that should be our aim. especially in this scenario, when we all are going through this pandemic and we want our kids' future to be safe, right? If we are feeding the kids today, whatever you are giving them for their lunch and dinner today is going to decide how their bodies are going to fight the virus or any other infection for that matter, right? So that's why it is. Can some of you are not on mute? Can you please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So that's why it is very, very important to keep our best foot forward when it comes to giving food or feeding our children with correct and nutritious food. Understand that whatever diseases we see at the age of 30 or 40 or 50, they have not happened overnight, right? Each disease to manifest into any physical symptoms can take many, many years. So that's the reason, even though we say that they are just kids, they can eat junk food or they can indulge in their favorite food, which may not be healthy. But understand that what we are getting into is we are building unhealthy eating habits for them. And over the time, they are going to get converted into some or the other symptom, right? That's why it is extremely important to take care of the nutrition for our kids. Next slide, Shweta. Shweta, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. So the next important question is, there is a lot of confusion about what is healthy food nowadays. If you see, we are bombarded with lots and lots of confusing information, totally contradictory information, right? If you open any social media, if you open newspapers, there are full page advertisements saying that, how your children should eat this particular superfood or the health drinks that are coming into the market. And that's why there is a lot of confusion. So exactly what is healthy food is the question which we should think about paying a lot of attention to it. And that's the reason we have covered in this course all the concepts about what is real healthy food, which is very, very natural. And we don't have to depend on any supplements, any superfoods, any expensive products that are available, which are totally processed and full of oil, sugar, and other things which are not very helpful for our kids' nutrition and progress, right? So in this course, we have also covered the theoretical videos or theoretical knowledge about what do you mean by real healthy food and how we can avoid everything else, that may be expensive, but that is not really healthy. Next. Yeah. Another reason is many of us are at home nowadays, maybe because of the lockdown. And it's not a good idea to order store-bought food or food from outside because of various reasons. And so we all are sitting at home and we have to cook 3 times in a day. And then we really wonder, what should I cook? Is it okay if my kids are snacking all the day because they are at home and they may not be very busy in their school work and other work, or even they cannot step out to play. They are constantly asking us for some or the other snacks. So is snacking okay? What should I serve if they ask us to serve something between meals? What can be the best mid-meal snacks? What should be avoided? This is very, very important. I was very surprised to see that the other day when they announced lockdown, I went to the supermarket and the aisles of junk food were empty. Chips, biscuits, Maggi, cornflakes, whatever, juice, cold drinks, everything. The first thing people were picking up to stock is the junk food. And that is the most dangerous thing we can do in the given situation, not only in the given situation, otherwise also. And it is not very difficult to make easy snacks for our children. They themselves can prepare if you can give them recipes and ingredients. they have all the free time nowadays, right? So you can just give them recipes and they can take it as a challenge and make these snacks. So we have also covered a planning of the meals. So there are some lunchbox ideas. Now we don't have school, so instead of sending it as a lunchbox, you can make it as there any of the meal option like lunch or dinner, right? There are lots of snack options available, mid-meal snacks options available, DIY recipes available. I will take you through this structure in the coming slides, but that is what you can expect in this course. Next, Shweta. So this was in brief about why it is important to take care of your children's nutrition at this given time, and how we have covered all these concepts already in the course along with the recipes. Now, what is that exactly I'm talking about? So we want our children to willingly eat and enjoy natural foods, including fruits and vegetables, in its most natural form. This is what we are striving to do. Not only once a day, but all the meals, if you can make sure that we are feeding our children most natural food. Okay, that means less processed, as much as possible, less processed. And one thumb rule that we have followed throughout this course is nothing bad should be added to your plate and nothing good should be removed. This is very, very important. When we make sure that nothing good should be removed, only then we are taking care of complete nutrition, and we can be confident of not taking any supplements or counting any of the individual nutrients. And the other important point here is willingly. So it's not a good idea to give your children some incentive. If you eat this vegetable, if you eat this fruit, then I'm going to give you chocolate. This is not a very long-term sustainable plan. We all have to build healthy eating habits together, right? And only then they are going to willingly eat. The other factor which affects whether children will willingly eat or not is the appearance and taste. Of course, we can't expect our children to eat boiled vegetables, right? Or some soup which is bland. That's not what they are going to enjoy. So even though they are fruits and vegetables in their most natural form, still we can work on the appearance and making it very appealing to the children. And the recipes are so easy that children themselves, anybody who is above 8 years old, they can do most of the recipes. Of course, some meal recipes, they will need your supervision, parental supervision, but otherwise all the recipes are quite easy because we are not going to process them, right? So this is what is going to be there in the program. Next. Okay, now we all of us, if I ask you, I'm sure each one of you exactly know what needs to be avoided, right? But still when it comes to giving snacks to the kids or making them eat fruits and vegetables, we don't pay attention much to the ingredients used in making this food. Many times there is this misconception that if the food is homemade, I can feed anything to my kids. That is not true. Even in homemade food, which ingredients you are using makes all the difference. It's not only about consumption, it's about absorption. And what are we giving our children to absorb? Is it chemicals? Is it flavoring agents? Is a lot of processing happening in the food when we are making it? So there are basically 5 bites that we are going to avoid in all the recipes. So first is white sugar. Okay, sugar is a complete no-no for our children also and for everyone at home. Then processed rice, processed flour, processed salt, that means refined salt, and animal products. That also includes dairy and dairy products. So whatever recipe, so you have almost 50 recipes in this course, starting from breakfast to snacks to lunch and dinner. All the recipes, we are not going to use any of these options. And not only we are avoiding the options, but we are telling you why it is not good. So many times when the why in our head, then how becomes easy. If you are not convinced about why sugar is not good, or they are just children, why not I just add 2 spoons of sugar in their milk, maybe morning milk. That's what we think, but it is really, really damaging. immunity goes down considerably when we consume sugar. Okay, people, can you please keep yourself on mute? In this program, we have included detailed description, detailed reasoning behind why to avoid sugar, dairy, refined flours, refined grains, and refined salt. Right. So you will actually understand the reason behind it, and then it becomes really easy to stick to these rules. Next. Okay, so now if we are going to remove those things which are not good for our health, and then what is that we are going to consume? So we are going to consume lots of natural ingredients. That means fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are especially very important when it comes to kids' health and their nutritional needs in the whole form, no processing. So when I say grains, that means if we are going to use wheat or rice, there is no maida. If there is rice, only unpolished rice, millets, right? When it comes to fruits and vegetables, no peeling of fruits and vegetables as much as possible. It is totally worth investing in organic produce or getting to know your farmer, right? From where are you getting the produce? And that's why we are going to keep all the ingredients as much as possible in its whole form, ensuring that all the nutritional needs are met. What are the general nutritional needs when it comes to kids' health? That comes to our mind. So it is basically calcium and protein. But understand that if you are not starving your child, if your child is eating 3 meals nicely, satisfactorily, then you don't have to worry about any of these macros like protein, carbohydrates, fat. What we should be mainly concerned about is the micronutrients. That means the vitamins and minerals. And generally in the processing, what we lose is these micronutrients. And these micronutrients are going to give us the immunity, right? That's what everybody is talking about nowadays. So immunity, you won't get it in a day by drinking haldi water or haldi milk or whatever. Nowadays there are so many concoctions coming up, you know. Even I saw one ad in the cupcakes, they are saying that immunity building cupcakes. So we need to think, you know, all these advertisements, exactly what is the reality. Can you get any micronutrient in that baked cupcake? It's just not possible to get anything from that, right? So micronutrients we get only when we consume fresh fruits and vegetables. That's why all the recipes which are included in this program are with these 5 main food groups or these 5 ingredients and in the whole form. And there are also some nutrition specific recipes we have included, like calcium rich drinks, protein rich laddus. That is also there. Like if you want to feed them something mid-meal snacks, then it's a good idea to go for those snack items. But otherwise, if you just follow this rule that consuming all the ingredients, natural ingredients in its whole form, then you don't have to worry about the nutritional requirement. But we have detailed discussions about nutritional needs for the children in this course. Next, Shweta. Yeah, so basically, if you see, there are 6 categories, majorly 6 categories in which this course we have divided. So there are some videos where I'm explaining you the concept about kids' health concepts. What are the health goals for the kids? What are the nutritional requirements for the children, right? Then there are some food concepts. Why to avoid those 5 white poisonous ingredients, right? What all to include, in which form, in what proportion. So we have covered all these food concepts in different videos. And then the recipes, we have 5 different categories for the recipes. So first recipe is food for fun. First category is food for fun. Food for fun is all the junk food that your children like to eat, including pizza, pasta, ice creams, chocolates, cookies, cake, everything that you can think of which your children love. We have the recipes which use only whole ingredients, but the recipes are really tasty and appealing to the kids. In fact, we had a separate program itself focusing only on this category. If you have attended DJUNK Kids program, That's what we had covered. So we have all the recipes of junk food covered in this. There are almost 5-6 video recipes and rest of the text recipes there. Then there are easy lunch ideas, right? So what happens is nowadays, because the parents are working, we are not free, but we have to cook for everyone, right? Because of the situation. So what can you do? How can you make your lunch very easy for everyone? So what you can do is there are some DIY lunch ideas also. So you just have to make some filling and keep it ready. And let your kids make their own sandwiches with those fillings or own wraps with the help of chapati. And they will enjoy. If you can just keep the dips and stuffing ready, they can make their own lunch. Right? We have burrito bowl, we have risotto, we have so many other interesting recipes. So kids won't get bored with eating same chapati sabzi every day. That's the idea of introducing this lunch ideas. And then whenever schools reopen, whenever you will have to pack lunch boxes for your kids, even these recipes will come handy. Then we have meeting nutritional needs as a separate section, where we have focused a little bit on the individual nutrients like calcium, protein. So these are very simple snack ideas. And all these recipes, your kids above the age of 8 can easily make it themselves. You just have to provide them with the correct ingredients. So that is covered in meeting nutritional needs. And then we have exciting fruits and vegetables. So generally what we see that fruits kids eat very easily because they are tasty, they have good appearance, and generally kids love fruits as compared to veggies, right? But still your children may get bored eating the fruit in the same way again and again. So we have some exciting fruit and vegetable ideas, and it is summer, so we have added some popsicles, ice creams, vegetable salads, vegetable noodles, vegetable chaat items. So just to make sure that fruits and vegetables our kids eat in big quantity, right? And then we have also added a section which is basic recipes. So to make all these things, because we are not going to use dairy, right? We are not going to use milk, curd or buttermilk. So there are plant-based alternatives to all these dairy items. So we have included recipes to make coconut milk, peanut curd, and all other dairy alternatives, so that the kids won't miss the taste of the dairy products, but you are giving them healthier alternatives to dairy and dairy products. Even in those basic recipes, we are going to stay away from white refined sugar, right? So what is the sweetener that we are going to use? Basically, it is date paste or raisins, or sometimes even organic jaggery. So even how to make date paste and how to make other things we have included in the basic recipe section. So this is what the program is all about, where there are some theory-based videos explaining the concepts, and then there are almost 50 recipes divided across these 5 categories, right? So this is what the basic idea behind this program, so that you don't have to stress, you don't have to get stressed about whether you are feeding your children enough of everything and whether their nutritional requirements are taken care of or not. And at the same time, making this cooking, whole idea is to make it fun and interesting. So your kids will start cooking from this age itself, right? And they will build a very positive image about healthy food. Generally, the moment we say that this is healthy, you should eat, the first thing they tell is, I don't want to eat if it is healthy, right? Many times we create that negative image in our kids' head. So this program, I sincerely wish that this program breaks that pattern of thinking healthy is not tasty or healthy is not fun. Okay, we have no other choice than to feed healthy and nutritious food to our children and even for ourselves. So even though this is, we have named it as kids healthy cooking, but I'm sure even as adults, we are going to enjoy all that, and we are going to eat and make all those recipes as well. So with this, now I want to ask you, what are the challenges that you are facing? If I can help you with any challenges that you are experiencing right now, giving your kids healthy food then maybe I can share some tips and ideas here. So if you have any question, you can use the chat box, type your question, or you can even unmute and ask. That should be fine. We are going to have separate Q&A based on this whole program at the end after few more slides. But if you have any pressing questions at this point of time where you feel that, still I have these challenges in my home when it comes to feeding healthy food, please feel free to ask.
Hi, Sai.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is mainly it is regarding my children. They are totally into unhealthy eating right now, presently. To make them understand about health, healthy eating and clean eating, I'm finding a big challenge in making them understand as to how to go about it. This is my first question: how I should make them understand, because
Okay.
they're 20 years and 17 years. They've crossed that almost they're into the late teens right now. So they daily they require all deep fried items every day in the evenings for snacks. So my main challenge is how to make them understand that this is not good. I'm finding it very difficult.
Yeah. See, Shalini, for you, like if the kids are in the age group of 8 to 13, 14, okay, we can have some control over them, right? Like in that age, I tell people ki it's a teamwork. You and your spouse has to decide ki no more buying of junk food in this house for the next 3 weeks. I mean, something like that, You can take it as a challenge. Next 3 weeks, we all are going to see how it goes, and we all are going to eat only same type of food. Okay, so no food inside the house. So generally, step by step, how we do it is you have to, in that age group I'm talking about.
Okay.
First, let me answer for everyone whose kids are in that age group. Then I will come to this. Okay, because the general approach won't work here because your kids are already 17 and 20.
Correct. Right.
Generally, let me still tell you ki how we work. Like we shifted to clean eating. My kids were 4 and 7. Okay. One day we just went into the kitchen. Of course, we were very steadfast, me and my husband, that's it. Now no more junk food in this house. And so we just went to the kitchen. We explained to them, we are going to read the ingredients. And if you find these ingredients in the box, we are going to keep like that. We actually took out so many, 2 big bags. There was cornflakes and there was so many things which were not healthy. So we just removed them, keep it in a bag, and then we all decided sitting together that Sunday evening is your day. Whatever you want to eat, Sunday evening, you choose one item from this bag and you are ready. You can eat it. So but at that age, it was easy to go through this experiment. At little later age, what happens? So first of all, is it has to be teamwork. So if you're telling your kids not to eat junk, you need to be sure that nobody in the house is eating junk. Okay.
Correct.
It can't be separate rule for kids and adults.
Right.
The second thing is, at this age, when it is 17 and 20, generally they can relate their health issues parameters somehow to the food. Then it becomes easy because the realization should come from their own experience.
Correct.
At a certain age, it's like they are almost, it's like they are adults, right? So, I'm just keeping some people on mute. Okay. So when you cross that age where they listen to you, the self-experience should drive this. So I have seen it, whenever my children, I mean, if they go out and eat pizza, attend birthday parties or whatever, next day they have that connection now ki they announce I'm on fruit fast or something, because they are seeing it daily. Working. So even I have to think at that age, how will you tell them? Or maybe just take it as a challenge. 1 week, we are going to stay off junk. And okay, see, only removing junk is not going to help. You have to replace it with equally tasty food, right? Because they are used to that deep fried taste.
Yeah.
So there are recipes where even though we have not used oil, you can use peanut butter powder to make it crispy in the air fryer.
Okay.
We are used to eating potato fries, French fries. You can easily make crispy French fries without any oil in air fryer. So there are some techniques. But at that age, it should be driven by them. If you drive the change, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Feel that. So you need to talk to them seriously, sit down and talk to them. And there are so many examples, so many sports personalities nowadays who are converting themselves into plant-based lifestyle, right? Like Virat Kohli. I mean, if they are sports people, they can relate to that more. So, so you have to, your kids better. So you can think about which way they will understand. At least they will agree to do it for 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They may be having some here and there small health issues. Maybe you can talk about that, 3 weeks like this and see if there is any difference in your problem.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shweta, there are quite a few questions. Can you read them?
Yes, I'll read out. So Shaina wants to know, my kids want to eat the same food which grandparents are eating, which is not healthy. What to do?
Yeah, this is a very common problem all of us have to go through. With experience, what I have come to understand, or my take on this issue is, you need to talk to the grandparents. You can't tell them don't eat, because they will be saying, I am 80, 85, whole of my life I am eating junk food, nothing is happening to me. So why are you telling me not to eat? Changing at that age is really difficult. So we should not get into that, changing their eating habits. But what we can do is at least make them understand. Am I audible? Yeah. At least make the grandparents understand that our kids have whole life in front of them, and nothing is the same. When the grandparents were growing up, by default, they were getting clean food, organic vegetables, no stress from the work point of view. They have very happy, easy, less speeded up lifestyle. And all that has contributed to the health they have right now. But at our age, everything is compromised. We are not getting pure air, pure water, nutritious groceries, fruits and vegetables. On top of that, there is so much of stress around that we cannot afford to eat junk food and feed it to our children. So you need to have that communication to stop them from eating junk food. So in my house, literally, we have a cupboard, grandparents' cupboard, okay, where they have kept all their junk food, and they eat whenever they feel like, but they don't give it to my children. And again, there is a time. Again, you have to work up with a strategy. Okay, once a week, you will get to eat that junk food. So I think communication is the key. There is no easy way out when people are not agreeing to the same approach. If they agree, if you can really talk to them about the health hazards of the junk food and how it is different than what you did whole of your life, how the situation is different now. And that's the reason we need to change. And I'm sure if you talk to them and if you try to explain it to them and not telling them that they are wrong and I am right, nothing like that. This is the situation. This is the reality. I'm sure they will understand. But this is really a difficult problem to navigate. But in my circle, all of us have somehow come up to this agreement that let them do whatever they are doing. But we are responsible for our kids' health, and that's why we will decide. So I think you will have to work around, come up with your own strategy, but you should not give this is an excuse. We can't accept this excuse when it comes to kids' health, that because grandparents are eating, so they are eating. No, we are responsible as parents about our kids' health, not the grandparents, right? So we have to take a call and we have to decide and try. Yeah.
So Dilpreet says, my kid is 2 years old, and whenever I make efforts and try different food, it's just not, he does just not want to eat it. And secondly, he doesn't like to chew food. Every time if I have to feed him, I have to engage him, and then only I can make him eat.
Okay. So the question is how to make him chew food and how to make him eat different taste, right? I mean, new food. See, at that age, no, at 2 years, you can't expect them to give them lots of taste, different tastes. It won't work that way. See, when they become 3, 4 or little bigger, like 4 plus, then they get that curiosity. Then they will start exploring the textures. Then you can give them finger salads, cucumber sticks, carrot sticks. That you can do at 2 also, but don't expect them to enjoy lots of different tastes at this age. So they will enjoy their khichdi or they will enjoy one type of vegetable at this age, you know, where you are weaning them off from the milk and you are introducing them to new food. So don't get in a hurry of introducing lots of new foods at this age. Wait for a little more time. Right now, let them choose or get used to one staple food, whatever that taste is, and slowly once a month, try to add little different type of vegetable or give different type of fruit. And again, another thing, whenever that happens, when your child is 3 plus and they are ready to explore different tastes, we really have to be patient. You know, you can't just give them 2 times and 2 times if they reject, then you understand that no, he's not eating it. No, 15 days, okay? At least 15 days, try to give them and be very patient with them. You know, let the food be in front of that child. First few days, he will just, you know, he will just play around with that food. But when he's playing around, he's actually getting the smell. He's understanding, oh, okay, apple smells like this, banana smells like this. The texture is like this is crispy, this is soft. So let them get used to that food item which you are trying to introduce. Let first few days some food will go waste. So you just have to be more patient.
So shall I read out the next question?
Yeah, and about chewing, I guess, yeah, whether he has complete teeth or not, that also depends on conditioning. Many times when we are weaning them off from the milk, breast milk, and giving them new foods, many times we, you know, blend it in the mixer and make it like a paste. And that's why, or if they are eating Cerelac or something like that, that's why they are not used to chewing anything. They are just, because it is paste like food, right? So that's why it will again take some time. Maybe the raw food the baby won't be able to chew. So give them steamed apple or steamed potato, steamed sweet potato, something which is soft and it will be easier to chew. This is just initially. Okay, once they understand the texture, they start enjoying the crispiness, then they will definitely chew them.
Thank you. Hi, this is Dilpreet.
Yes.
So I understood, but the thing is, whenever he's able to chew his chocolates, his chips, his lollipops, but he's not able to chew his food. So whatever comes in his mouth, like if there is a vegetable or something, he'll just throw it away, that he doesn't want to eat it. And
Yeah.
I think why my concern is into the food, different types of food. Like I have my few friends and their kids are even smaller than him. They eat everything, they chew everything. So that is actually my more concern, like why he's not eating it.
Yeah. So again, Dilpreet here, first thing is stop giving him chocolate lollipops. Okay. There is no other way. See, that is so more tasty. Why will he eat a vegetable when he is getting chocolate lollipop and chips, right? That is even for us. Even for us, if you give me 2 dishes, in one there is all soft pastries and whatever nice tasting chips, which are crispy, which doesn't
Right.
Right? So we will also choose that. So first rule, and this is the correct age to do that, is remove all that from his. He is not going out and asking for it. You are exposing him to the junk food, right? have to, many parents, they come to me and say that, oh no, but he should be used to eating junk food. Now, what if he goes out? Okay. In the house, I'm giving homemade food, but he should have some used to eating junk food. But that is not true. You don't have to teach them how to eat junk food at all. That comes by default, right? So just stop giving him all the foods and the junk food. And the second thing is, don't compare. Please don't compare. I know I am working with a lady, she's 55, she hates fruits. She is not able to eat a single fruit. Okay, and it's not like she doesn't understand the importance. It's aversion. Okay, so please don't compare your child with other kids. He will have his own growth. See, the only thing you have to make sure at this age is you are creating positive image. The more you force him to eat something, and the more you say no, 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 or something like that, you know, it will remain in his head. So let's make it like a play when you are giving him food around it. You know, let him explore more than eating first. Okay. Right, and he should see all the family members sitting around the table and eating lots of fruits or vegetables.
Right. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So,
Hi, sir. Yeah, please continue.
Yes, Neeta.
Yeah, hi. So I have twins, and they are 4 years right now. And so I just heard you were talking about how we need to avoid dairy and like milk and all that right now. But I'm concerned about the calcium intake that they would be getting right now, because if I avoid curd and milk and all that, how do I ensure that they get enough calcium?
Yeah. So, Neeta, I won't answer this question now because it is already part of the program. We have a separate video about why not dairy, and we have a section about calcium-rich food. Okay. So.
Okay. Yeah. And another question is, if I avoid junk food, I mean, I usually don't get it, once in a month or something, I give them 1 or 2 biscuits. Biscuits are totally, I avoid biscuits. And chocolates once in a while, when they go to the grandparents' house or something like that, they do get some lollipops or chocolates. But again, if I avoid them a lot, they come back asking for more, because if I just allow them to eat 1 or 2 once in a while, they're happy with that. But the more I avoid it, they end up asking for more. Or when the cousins are at home, they act as if I have never given them anything till now. They go around asking everybody. It happens like that. Yeah. So how do I tell them? How do I avoid it?
No, so that's what. Don't deprive them of that fun of having a lollipop once in a while. But this once in a while is very important. See, if you 100% remove everything, then all these things will happen. Okay, they will go to the neighbors to eat junk food and all that. We are not depriving them of that small momentarily fun, but it should not become a habit. Okay, and you can build that structure. Okay, all 7 days I finished all my vegetables, I ate all my fruits. Okay, that's the reason Sunday evening I am getting to eat my favorite junk food, right? And from this age itself, start telling them stories. There are lots of stories, blue color, like all these junk food, they use so many of colors, artificial colors. So there are research papers which actually tell you that how that chemical laden blue color can cause is related to getting cancer. I mean, I'm just giving you one example, but kids really understand all these things. Okay, and you can relate it with examples around you, and slowly they will start observing. See, because at this age you can stop them from eating, but after a certain age, they start going to school, and after that you are not there to monitor them, right? So you can't control it after certain limit. So the only thing you can do is expose them to good food and build this habit that once a week we are getting the junk food, like that. Okay, don't deprive them of the food. And this will happen. This will happen initially, that when you get into this routine, they will go outside and eat all the junk like they have never gotten before. This is very, very natural. Don't get upset about it. This is the process. Okay. You have decided to go against the flow. You have decided to feed your children healthy food. So all these are small, small obstacles. Accept them. That is nothing wrong in it. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Because they are not getting junk food, that's why they are going and eating. So we don't have to get angry at them also. The more worried we are is what will others say, right? Why are they eating junk food? That is our main, not the kids' actions, right? So that's perfectly okay, because you are trying to do something, you are trying to teach them something. Sometimes this will happen. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So Shweta, it's 4:45 now.
Right.
Do you want to finish the next slides and then we'll take the Q&A?
There are just 2-3 questions. Maybe let's close. Huh?
Sure.
Manvi is asking, my child eats fruits, veggies and nuts, but does not eat enough roti or rice. He's 4 years old and is 14.5 kgs, which is less for his age.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. I mean, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
Actually, she's just shared this information. She's asking that he does not eat roti and rice is her concern.
This is Manvi.
Yeah.
So the thing is, my son is on a leaner side. So he eats food, he eats whatever is healthy, but you know, the quantity which he should eat for his age is less. So he'll prefer eating sprouts or whatever we make for breakfast, but he'll leave poha. That I have to force him. Or for lunch, he'll probably eat 1-2 bites of roti and have dahi and leave the rest of the food. So the appetite is very less. So even if he's eating a nutritional food, I feel that's not enough, because you have to have a certain quantity for it to be effective in the body, right?
Yeah, so this itself not a very correct understanding. Okay, we have conditioned ourselves that kids should eat this much food, and that this much varies from house to house, from parent to parent, right? The only thing to monitor is he active throughout the day?
Very active.
Is he complaining of leg pain, some other pain, so I'm not able to go out and play? Nothing like that, right? He's completely busy in playing and actively playing.
Yes.
Right? So don't get into this mindset of, oh, he's eating less and he's weak and he's lean and all that. Don't force your children to eat more food, because as you grow up, you will realize that you will get into this habit of overeating. Most of the problems we have nowadays as adults is overeating, nothing more than that. So like in my other courses also, like I teach people how much to eat, and then you will realize that you need only this much amount of food. And when it comes to kids, you know, they will never starve themselves if they are hungry, right? If he's hungry, he will eat lot of food. If he's not hungry, and if you are telling him, it is your lunch time, you should eat roti, he may not eat. Then suddenly at 3 o'clock, he may get so much of hunger that he will eat a lot of things that you give. So I just want to give you one tip. Observe his hunger pattern. When is he really hungry in a day? Okay, you have to watch for that, note it down, and at that time, give him only roti, chapati, the stuff that you want him to eat. If he's really hungry, he will eat it. If he's really not hungry, then he will just here and there eat some fruit, some veggie, some sprouts, and that's done.
Right.
Observe 2-3 things that you are not feeding him too many times in a day. Let him come to you that I am hungry. You are not going to him to give him food.
So when we sit for lunch, we make him sit for lunch. So we should not tell him to sit, and then when he wants to eat, he eats. Because what happens is that then he'll start saying, "Good de do, thodi si chini de do."
No, I know, because he is not hungry. So
when he's hungry, he asks for all these things, you know, because I don't, then biscuit de do, or you know, makhana de do. Then I'll say, okay, eat food. But yeah, maybe what you're saying, I have to work on it. But this is the challenge that I face, is that he will still ask for something other than roti.
Yeah, I know. So that happens, but because he knows you are going to give him.
Yes. So I mean,
Yes. So once he understands how much ever he asks for, he's going to get only this.
okay.
Okay, that has to come from you and everyone at home. It
Right.
doesn't happen that you are not giving, but somebody else is giving.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times.
Yes. So this is like initial struggle, but once you overcome this, then he's sorted for life. He knows exactly when I'm hungry. Only then I'm getting food and the food which I should eat. Otherwise, when he's not hungry here and there, he can eat fruit, veggie, something like that.
Yeah, right.
You have to take a control, okay, what you are giving.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So, Sai, the next question is, what is the right time to give milk? And can fruits be given just like that, or they need to be juiced?
Okay, so right time to give milk, dairy milk, please avoid nowadays. It's in earlier days, okay, anyways, a lot of details are there about dairy in the course. So the answer to your question is, please don't give dairy milk. Give other alternatives which are there in the course. You can go and a smoothie you can give, or coconut milk and dates shake you can give. And why is covered there, so I will not repeat it again here. And fruits, don't give juice. No. Juice once in a while it's okay, but we don't want to remove the fiber from the fruit, right? The fiber and everything else, the outermost cover of the fruit has maximum micronutrients. You can't throw the fiber and give the juice. So please don't get into the habit of giving juice to your kids. It has to be whole fruit. Maybe chop it, maybe make it into a smoothie. So smoothie means you're not removing the fiber. It is with the fiber. At the max, you can give smoothie. Sometimes if they come from their workout or playing out and they feel some thirsty and they want to drink something, smoothie is a better option. So don't go for juice.
Okay, there is a question about if you can suggest any online app for organic fruits and veggies.
In Bangalore, we have Farmizen. But in all other cities, you will have so many apps. I mean, not apps. Organic World is there. I don't know which city she's asking for, but I can tell only about Bangalore. And in Bangalore, Farmizen, Organic World, Just Organics. There are so many. You just have to Google. Farmizen is one of the apps which I use.
So there's this last question, Sai, then we'll proceed with the slides. At home, we, just a minute. At home, we have one day in a week where we have eat whatever we want to. Would you advise still curbing it down to just one time in a day or in a week?
Sorry, Shweta, I didn't get the question. Can you please repeat?
She's asking that they, like in their home, they have one day where they eat what they like to. So she wants to know, should it still be curbed down, brought down to say one time in a day or something?
Yeah, because whole day will be 3 meals and 2 snacks. So 5 meals will be little too much, and kids' stomachs are really very delicate. They can't take this load at a time. So 1 meal should be fine. If you don't want to, if it is very difficult right away to make it 1 meal per week, make it 2 meals, but space it, 3 days healthy, then 1 meal, then maybe again 3 days and 1 meal, something like that. But don't go for whole day of whatever you like. That will really damage the digestion.
So Sai, shall we proceed with the slides? We'll take up the questions after that.
So Shweta, we don't have to go through these slides because we already covered.
I'll just skip them then.
Yeah, you skip them and you go to directly the menu plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just thought of sharing, like, out of all the 50 recipes, you can make different theme menus at home. So all these recipes which you can see on the screen are part of the recipes which we have covered. So there are DIY recipes, I spoke about it. There are Italian recipes, birthday party, menu, French fries, milkshake. When I'm saying milkshake, of course, it is not without dairy milk. There are summer special recipes like popsicles, ice cream, and there are some ready-to-eat snacks as well. So these are just different ways of arranging those same recipes. So you can play around and make your own menu for the day. So with that, I complete sharing what I wanted to share. I hope I have answered all your questions, and I'm hoping to see you on the program. Although it is e-learning, I'm sure you will get a lot of value from that program. Thank you, Shweta. Over to you now.
So I'll just take you through what the course includes. Like Sai mentioned, it's an e-learning course. So once you sign up or register for the course, you will be given a login ID. So you'll have to download the app, the e-learning app, log in using your credentials, and then you'll be able to view the course. So what the course includes is a compilation of recipes. There are video recipes as well as text recipes, and video recipes have been shot by Sai herself. These are studio short recipes, very detailed step-by-step recipes of all wholesome foods that you can offer to your children. And all the recipes shared in the course are also compiled as a recipe ebook, which you can download for future use. Other than the recipes, like Sai mentioned in her presentation, there are some health concept videos also, where Sai has discussed, these are pre-recorded videos again with Sai, where she discusses the various aspects, the various challenges, tips and tricks for you to get your kids to eat healthy. So that's about the course. And of course, being an e-learning course, it is available to you anywhere, anytime. You can have your app on your mobile or on your laptop, and you can access it as per your convenience, like at whatever time is convenient to you. And it's a very easy to follow format. Like I mentioned, you can watch the videos, you can view the text recipes, and you can download the additional resources. So once you register for the course, you will have access for 90 days. And during that period, while you're completing the course, if you have any queries, you can share them on the e-learning platform, and Sai will be there to support you throughout your journey. So that's about the course. And so here are the recipes. These are the video recipes that we have in the course. You can take a look at them. The list of recipes in the different categories. Other than these, there is in fact another category, the basic recipes. And plus we have additional text recipes also. So I'll leave this screen on for some time. You can take a look at the screen. So many of you have already registered for the program, and for those of you who still have to register, right now, if you register before 1st of May, with this course, the Healthy Kids Cooking course, you get access to the Sugar Proof Your Kids course, which is another e-learning program that we have, which will help you to replace, to make the sweet delights for your children with healthier alternatives than white sugar. So desserts, snacks, breakfast recipes. So that's another interesting course for parents. So right now you will get it free along with this course if you register before 1st of May. So here is the QR code if you want to register yourself right now, and there are details of Google Pay and Paytm as well on the screen. In the meanwhile, we can take up more questions, Sai, the ones that were left.
Sure.
Yeah, so Monali says, I have 10 years old twin boys. One of them eats almost all vegetables, but not interested in pulses. And the other one is totally positive. I suggested them to do mixed pickle or curd with veggies or pulses. Is it okay?
No, I would say this is not a good strategy. Pickle and curd both are not I mean, both should be avoided as much as possible. So maybe you can work on making veggies and pulses itself more interesting. Maybe, you know, make it into some gravy vegetable, whatever taste they like. Or pulses, you can make it into tikkis or kebabs and add it as a wrap in your chapati, right? Vegetables, there are so many ways to make them interesting. But once they get used to eating it with pickle and curd, this habit will remain for life, you know, and they will always need pickle and curd, which is not good for their health. Okay, at least not the curd made with dairy. And pickles have so much of salt and oil in it. So don't get into developing this habit for your kids. Instead, learn the recipes with you know, for pulses and vegetables, so you can make interesting and tasty recipes which they will like. But don't, and this is true, I have seen many people give ghee and sugar and jaggery and something, you know, so we feel that, oh, okay, at least some vegetable they are eating, so we are giving some sugar. But don't get into this habit. Yeah.
So Aditi says, I have twin daughters. They are 2 years old. One daughter doesn't want to eat vegetables at all. And I do a lot of variations. And my second daughter wants to eat fruits and vegetables. Fruits and rice. What should I do? They are active.
Yeah, so I mean, they are different personalities. Of course, we can't expect both of them to like same kind of food, right? So first is just accept that they both are different and they both will have different likes and dislikes. But even given that situation, you will have to deal differently with both of them. So one person, whatever she is not eating, you have to tell her, okay, 5 days I'll give you your favorite fruit or whatever, then you have to eat this vegetable. Another person also, whatever she is not eating, you have to tell her that I will give you. See, when I say I will give you your favorite food, that doesn't mean junk food. Favorite food can be totally healthy. So make sure that you are giving only healthy food, but it can be favorite vegetable, favorite fruit, something like that. So don't worry, you may have to deal with them differently, because even though they are twins, they have totally different likes and dislikes and personality. So we have to accept that and deal accordingly. Like there is no formula by which both of them will start liking same type of food, right? That's not going to happen.
So if there are any other questions, either regarding the course or, you know, regarding any sales queries, I have my colleague Rakshat also in the call. Or if you have any queries to ask Sai, please feel free to share. So there are 1 or 2 queries on the WhatsApp group. Ushma is asking, can we access the course from laptop? Yes, Ushma, you can. You can download the app on your laptop. We'll be giving you the detailed steps how to go about it, and you'll be able to access it on your laptop as well. Aditi, you are inquiring about the recipe book. So recipe book is a part of the course. So once you enroll, you will have access to the complete content, and you'll be able to download the recipe book as well.
Okay, there is one question about supplements. Would you recommend we give the kids any supplements to start with, given we will start eliminating dairy, etc. gradually? No, no, no. Kids don't need any supplements. Even we adults don't need any supplements. Why do it supplements when you can get everything through natural source, right? Supplement is chemical majority of the times. And it's not only about consumption, it's about absorption as well. You may be consuming 1000 mg calcium supplements, but what if body is able to digest only 300 mg? 700 mg is a load on our kidney and it's just flushed out of the body, right? Instead of that, let them eat 500 mg of natural calcium. At least most of it will be absorbable easily. So we don't have to worry about supplements, but provided you are giving variety of grains, variety of fruits, variety of vegetables, variety of everything in its natural form, right? So supplements are not going to help us. Okay.
So related to supplements, Pallavi says, my elder daughter is deficient in vitamin D3. Vitamin deficiencies are on the rise in kids too.
Very true. And especially vitamin D, if you 50% of the population is D deficient, if they get tested. Okay, now we are not getting tested, so we don't know. But almost 1 in 2 is deficient in D3, including kids. Right. So first thing will be, the best thing will be to expose them to sunlight every day, 20-30 minutes, but it may not be practical in the given situation. So yes, vitamin D3 supplements are necessary if they are found deficient. But slowly you can choose to, go for sunbathing as a family. Regular sunbathing 15 to 20 minutes is the way to go, not the supplements, because vitamin D3 is also fat soluble, not water soluble. So excess vitamin D3 can cause, they have their own other side effects. Okay, so D3 I totally understand. You may have to supplement if they are not, because you don't get it through food, vegetarian or plant-based food.
So those were the queries, Sai. I don't see any of the questions right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pallavi continues. Another vitamin that concerns is B12. Any suggestions?
Yes, so I will not repeat, but we have covered B12 in detail in the course. But yes, B12 and D3, and it has nothing to do with plant-based food. Everybody is B12 deficient. See, people who are consuming animal-based products, they are also B12 deficient because their absorption is not happening as it should be. And people who are not consuming animal-based products, sometimes they are low in consumption itself and absorption also of B12. So you have to take care of, but it is, because it is water soluble, you don't have to worry about taking supplements. But if once you start following these natural lifestyle changes like sunbathing, eating more sprouts, eating at least some part of fermented food, and staying away from processed and junk food, that is going to improve synthesis of B12 through whatever fermented food you are consuming, right? So till that happens, B12 and D3, you have to take care. Yeah.
May I request everyone to please be on mute. So Sai, I think with this, we are good to conclude the session. Thank you so much for this enriching session. And what I can see from the questions that are coming from the participants, that this certainly is going to be the ideal course to answer all their concerns and queries regarding kids and their nutrition, and of course the enriching recipes that you've shared. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today, and hope you're able to make the best out of this course. And like I mentioned, for those of you who still may want to register, you can be in touch with our sales team and register for the course. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you everyone. Bye.